What's up guys, Professor Protoss here. Welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be doing another replay analysis. I've actually got quite a few replay submissions over the last few days. So I'm going to try and squeeze in 3 replay reviews for you guys. Our first replay comes from Yunbei, and he says he played SCR on Battle.net with his father a while back and was wondering in what ways he can improve his gameplay. He's a Protoss player and his dad name is a terran. In the first replay, he makes probes consistently and tries not to get supply blocked, but they disconnected. And he says that his dad went refinery before barracks and he was confused and wondered if it was a viable strategy. Alright, thanks for the replay submission, Yunbei. I want to say straight up that going refinery first is not a viable strategy in today's game. So the reason for that is, one, for the Terran player, you definitely would need a barracks earlier than later. Instead of a refinery, and that's because if a Protoss builds a zealot, they could just come in and pressure you. If they scout you're going refinery first, they could pressure you early with a zealot, and it would be a hard time for you. And number 2, if you make a refinery before your barracks, and you put 3 guys to mine your gas, you're going to find that you're actually pretty low in mineral count for your build order. So just going supply depot, barracks, refinery is usually the typical build that you want to do. So let's go ahead and watch your game, and let's give you some feedback on what you can do better. So we have Terran Master and Templar 40268, which is Yunbei, by the way. We're going to start on ×4 speed. So Yunbei's Protoss in the bottom right, and his dad is the Terran in the top right. That's pretty cool that your dad plays Starcraft with you, Yunbei. I actually got my girlfriend to start playing recently, and that's the whole reason I started doing these tutorial videos, is I saw she had such a hard time playing. And I tried to give her some, review and feedback and realized I can make videos about it. So you're making a pylon at 8, not stopping your probe production, that's good. I'm assuming you're going to go gateway at 10, assimilator at 12. Your dad making his depot. He should be going supply next, unless this is the game where he goes refinery first. Maybe we'll see. And then you're scouting. Good. Yeah, I like to scout after my gateway with my probe first. So, not sure what the purpose of this pylon is. You may either make a assimilator and go cybernetics core, or you can make a zealot and then a pylon. But you made that one a little early. See how you have supply like way up here? Like way early. And your dad's stuff's like way late, and he blocked his SCV. So one problem I'm noticing already is you're building 3 pylons off of 1 gateway right here, and it just serves no purpose. What eventually is going to happen is you're going to have to build your gateways around these pylons here. But if you notice on these particular gateways in this order, your units spawn underneath. So this is going to end up getting your units blocked, or like dragoons stuck behind it. This is not good building placement. What normally I would do is build a pylon here, build your gateways off of it, and then build pylons like around the edges of my bases, and build more here as needed, but build them around the edges so you can see if they come in to like drop you. And then I would build a pylon underneath this gateway, and then like another one up here, and build the gateways straight down here, straight down here, and straight down here. And that way they can spawn either underneath or to the left so they don't get stuck. But yeah, like I said, you're going to end up building a wall, and they're going to make your units stuck. So never build pylons in a row like this. This might be because of Big Game Hunters, which, by the way, guys, if you've never played Big Game Hunters, the map we're on right now, it's pretty fun. It's good for teams, and it's fun to, just practice on and build macro, or practice your macro on, because you get 20,000 minerals per patch, you get 2 gas, and you get like a zillion patches, so you don't really need to expand. You can just build like a ton of stuff off 1 base. Pretty fun to macro and do some practicing games on. I'm not sure why you stopped scouting his main, because he didn't kill your probe, it looks like. So you always want to try to keep your probe alive. Scout them as much as possible. If they have too many Marines, just leave it here. So you can see if he's trying to like move out. You know, peek in, peek back out, run away a little bit. You could probably just kill him right now, to be honest. But I also noticed that you went Forge early, and you're building weapons upgrade. It's an interesting strategy. I do like that you're making weapons instead of armor. You know, a lot of players just make like shield or armor or something. Weapons is the same price as armor, but it's way more important because you get 2 extra attack rather than 1 less defense. And shield is like a total ripoff. It's 200 gas, 200 minerals, and it only protects you, 1 damage. So most players go, weapons, weapons, armor, weapons, armor, shield in that order because of the cost of the upgrades and how much better weapons are than armor for Protoss. So yeah, and then right here, you're trapped now, dude. When your goons come out, they're definitely going to be trapped and like run around. Yep, see? So I have some pylons here, build up and down with your gateways. Maybe build a circle, but build them like away from each other. And build pylons around your base to scout for dropships. That's what you need to work on. Your macro is good. Your probe production is good. You've got a gazillion probes, but you need to work on your building placement, and you need to work on putting pylons around the base. And the reason why your build order needs some work as well, I noticed at the beginning of the game that you made, a few zealots before your gas. The reason that's bad versus Terran, because all it takes for them to build their first barracks here and their first supply depot here, and they'll have a perfect wall that zealots can't get through, and then they go straight into factory, into vultures, into siege tanks. So most Protoss versus Terrans just go pylon, gateway, gas, and then cybernetics core, and then another pylon, and then their dragoon and dragoon range. Dragoon range and dragoon are so much better against Terran than Zealot is. At the beginning, Zealot's really good when they have leg speed against tanks, but dragoon range is so much better at like just harassing them, killing spider mines, killing their buildings, poking in and out. So you need to work on your build order. You need to work on your building placements, but your macro is pretty decent, so you got that down. So like this is probably a bad habit from big game hunters playing on this map. I usually build 1, 2, 3 pylons here, pylons scattered along the edge of my base, maybe a cluster of pylons like here, 8 to 10 pylons here, or they're like way out of the way. You want your gateways over here and your pylons down here. I'd build a few pylons to like wall off here maybe and take the space, or a few pylons to wall off like here and take this space. That's how Protoss pylons should look. So yeah, I mean, at any point you can just attack him and kill him. So you're definitely better than your dad. Oh, observers are so important in Protoss vs. Terran. I make a ton of observers because you could put an observer over their factory and see their factory count. You could put an observer outside their natural and see when they move out. I put an observer in their main. I put an observer in their natural. I put an observer at their third to see when they take their third. I put an observer at the middle of the map because I can have my army just like right here, right? I have like 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. I have my observer like right here. And some vultures try to run by. Nope, denied. Their Terran army unsieges and moves forward. As soon as they unsiege, I'm coming in, killing that army. So observers are so important in PvT. So make sure to make some observers, put them around the map and spot them. Work on that. But yeah, I mean, overall, great replay. Thanks for the submission. You have pretty good macro. You just need to work on your unit comp, your build order, and your building placement, And that's something you can just practice against a computer. Show me the money, get those minerals. Operation Qual, get that building speed. Use those cheats. And just practice, some layouts. Takes the time to build some layouts around your base. Maybe watch some replays, some pro gamers, and they'll see how they build their base. All right, this next replay is from Vorchant. He's the one who submitted one from our last video. If you notice our last video, he played a Protoss versus Protoss, and today he's playing a Protoss versus Zerg. So Vorchant, thanks for the submission again. He says, let's see, in his email to me. And guys, you can send your replay submissions to professorprotoss@gmail.com. I will definitely take the time to review them for you. Even if you're Protoss, Terran, or Zerg, like whatever race. I know I do a lot of Protoss. I just happen to get a lot. I am a Protoss player, and my name's Professor Protoss. But I can review Terran or Zerg, just not at the really high level. I'm not skilled enough to do high level Terran and Zerg. Maybe like middle level, low level for that. I can do high level Protoss though. So he says he's played a dozen Protoss versus Zerg games against the same player he played last time, and he's lost every one. Is that right? We played a dozen and he beat me in every. Wow. Okay. You know, Protoss versus Zerg is a hard matchup. It definitely comes down to scouting your opponent. It's one of the main things you want to do in Protoss versus Zerg, because the Zerg can just do so many different builds versus Protoss. So what we have a 4-player map. We have Vorchant or Randir, the Protoss. He's playing against West again, who is pretty interesting. Last time he was Protoss, he's Zerg now. And what you normally want to do against Zerg is a fast expand build on a 4-player map. You can sometimes do like one gate tech on some maps, but you know, definitely fast expand. Pylon out here, Forge Gateway, Nexus. So first problem, Vorchant. You know, when you build this pylon, you need to send this guy to scout. Scouting's so important against Zerg. You don't know if they're gonna like 4-pool you. You don't know if he's gonna go hatchery first, pool first. So make the pylon, send him to one of the corner bases here or here, and then send another probe out. It's not that big a deal. Scouting's way more important. So the Zerg player, he's going 9 pool. Alright, so if you go double cannon right now, I guess it's like a hard counter. Or it's not a hard counter, I mean, it's just like the standard safe build to do against 9 pool. So, lucky you. You know, you went double cannon. It's pretty safe. It worked out this time because he went 9 pool. So, you know, making these early cannon investments worked out for you. But had you scouted and he went, let's say he went hatchery first and no pool, and you built these 2 cannons, you'd be behind. Oh wow, he just suicided his Zerglings into this. Now you can definitely just build your Nexus and like not care what he does, because you're actually pretty far ahead. This pylon placement's not great. You know, I do say you should build pylons around the base and stuff, but here's a couple things. One, if you build your pylon down here, your next gateways are going to have to be down here. And 2, how are you supposed to protect your mineral patches over here from Mutalisk? So I always build my second pylon, you know, here or here. And the reason for that is because they go Mutalisk, I could throw down a cannon here and here. I could throw down my gateways like over here and over here. Actually, I would put this pylon probably here, to be honest. So yeah, you got to work on that pylon placement because it's very important against Zerg. Especially because they have so many tools. They can just go Mutalisk. They can go Lurker drops. Oh, you put another pylon there, man. Okay, you definitely need to work on that. Like way over here, what purpose does that serve? You need to work on putting pylons, you know, here, here, or up here. But that's like easily harassable by Mutalisk. But you know, you have to build gateways somewhere. 2 gateways here. I already see a problem with this build placement as well. If you build a Dragoon, like I said, gateways usually spawn underneath him. So your Dragons are going to come out here and they're going to get stuck. But you should be making Zealots. You should be scouting with probes every once in a while. He's got no defenses. You can just like pump Zealots right now. And you should definitely make weapon upgrade against Zerg. Weapon upgrade is so important against Zerg. The reason for that is because against a player like this guy who's going Zerglings only, it looks like, Zealots kill Zerglings in 3 hits. But with weapon upgrade, if you have 1 extra weapon compared to the Zerg armor, so if you want weapons first, you can kill the Zerglings in 2 hits with Zealots. It makes such a big difference. So weapon upgrade, work on building placement, move these pylons, you know, here and here, maybe down here. Get it tight. Get your pylons tight against Zerg. Get them spread out against Terran, but tight against Zerg because they can do so many things to your main. And then you need to check on these idle workers. So when you do 0p, 9p for your probes, double tap your hotkey, go back to your main, and make sure your workers are mining. So this isn't good. You just killed a cannon and you're going mass dragoons. Alright, let me tell you something about dragoons. Dragoons suck versus Zerg, right? Dragons lose to Zerglings. Dragons lose to Hydralisk. Dragons lose to Mutalisk. So Dragons are just pretty terrible all around against Zerg. Now versus Terran and versus Protoss, Dragons are great. Versus Zerg, Dragons suck. Dragons are good against Lurkers, but you didn't scout him going Lurkers. So why are you building Dragoons? And you got 4 per gateway here. If you got 4 per gateway, you got to cancel 2 of those and make more gateways. So you got 5 gateways. That's all right, but I would probably have 6 or 7. And your building placement needs work. So just like the last replay we watched, just play against a computer. Give you that cheat code, show me the money, Operation Call, and practice like a perfect gateway layout. A pylon here with gateway, 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 in a line on both sides of the pylon. I'll make a video about this. And you're building like, whoa, where'd all your probes go? You sent your probes to your third out of your main? Alright, so another thing, you have tons of probes mining here. You have some probes mining here, but why do you not have any probes in your main, dude? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mineral patches in the main. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mineral patches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mineral patches. So where you have the most mineral patches, you should have the most probes. And you have like a gazillion probes here. You need to recognize this and send some probes back. So work on that. Make sure to leave probes in the main and only grab a few to send your natural. And then once you get your third up, grab a few from each base, like 4 and 4. If you actually select 4 probes and hold shift, you can select 4 more probes here and send 8 to your third base. Rather than just grabbing like 12 from your main and sending them over here. So work on that as well. But yeah, Dragoon, it's just going to get hard countered. And it's actually funny, he's actually going the exact counter to Dragoon, which is Mass Zergling with Hive Adrenaline upgrades. And he didn't even scout, and he didn't even scout. Had you had scouted him, you could have just made a ton of Zealots. You could have made that weapon upgrade. You could have made the High Templar Archons. So you need to work on your unit composition, your building placement, and you definitely need to work on scouting. Your macro is pretty decent in this game. I would maybe make a few more gateways, but the reason you lost this game is because Zerg are crafty bastards. You need to be able to see what they're doing at all time and respond accordingly. So I would definitely go, if you fast expand, Gateway, Zealot, Cybernetics Core, Stargate. Stargate's very important because it makes Corsair, and Corsair is one of the only ways you can scout Zerg, especially if they make a sunken colony or they have Zerglings. Like, how else are you supposed to see what they're doing? Terran can scan them, but Protoss needs that Corsair. Not to harass overlords, that's a bonus, but fly into their base and see what they're doing. If you flew like 5 minutes ago into his base with the Corsair, you'd be like, oh, he's got a bunch of hatcheries. He's going mass Zerglings. That's all he's doing. Well, okay, cool. I'll just go DT Corsair. I'll just go, Zealot Archon. You can straight up just counter that. I'll just make a bunch of cannons. But Dragoon's not good against that. So you need to work on scouting. You need to work on unit composition. And you need to work on base layout. And just keep, workers in your main base. It's more important to have workers in your main than at your expos, because like I said, there's less minerals here. And you just switch back and forth. 0, 0, go to your main. 9, 9, go to your natural. Notice that you have less. Rectify it by grabbing a bunch of probes and sending them back. But yeah, Vorchan, thanks for the replay submission. It looks like you're getting pretty good. You're getting better. You just need to focus on a few things. Watch some pro gamer videos on Protoss versus Zerg. You'll kind of get a feel of what kind of units you should make and how the game flow should go from there. But yeah, thanks for the video submission. We'll go to the next replay. Alright, so our next replay comes from Start Please. Start Please posted a thread on Team Liquid asking people to analyze some of his replays. He needs some help. And teamliquid.net and the strategy forum for Brood War is a great place to get some help. You'll be surprised at how many people are willing to just spend their time and give you replay analysis just for you making a thread about it and submitting your replays. I actually gave a full page analysis written for this guy, but I asked him if I can do a video for his replays as well for our YouTube channel. He even got some feedback from Legionnaire, who's like a pro. So I'm not from Team Liquid, but I endorse Team Liquid. Definitely go there. You can get feedback from me through videos. You can get feedback through Team Liquid just from people writing you a response. It's a very great website. So start, please. In this game, he played a Protoss versus Zerg, and he said he felt like he was ahead. He's not sure why he lost this game, so we're going to go ahead and analyze this for him. So as usual in Protoss vs. Zerg, you want to fast expand. You want to build your pylon down here, your gateway, and your forge. And then you want to go Nexus, Zealot, Corsair to Scout, things like that. So we'll just see what he does. And so we got the pylon down. He's sending this probe out to Scout. So remember Vorchant, send your first probe to Scout. Scouting is super important versus Zerg. It's important in every matchup, but it's like super important versus Zerg. You get in there, you see, oh, he's got no spawning pool. He's got no spawning pool. Why even build a forge, I mean, there it is. You want to overpool. But technically, you can just go Nexus Forge. Or Forge Nexus Gate Cannon, Another important thing to look out against Zerg with your scouting probe, and I like that you looked at his other expansions to see if he took another base, is to leave your probe over here. Count their larvae. You notice right here he just built 2 eggs and his spawning pool's not done, and now it finished? Well, then he doesn't make any Zerglings, so why even bother making cannons? You can just make a Nexus. So counting larvae, pro tip, super important, Protoss vs. Zerg. Keep your probe in his base. He only made 2 Zerglings still. Technically, you could have had like a Nexus, a Gateway, and 1 cannon here. But, it's no biggie. You're still learning, so just keep an eye out on that stuff. Good job keeping your probe alive so far. He has a sunk colony here, so just kind of like go up and down like over here somewhere. Don't go that way. Oh, it's all right. Good job on probe production so far. He just suicided a few Zerglings. What I would do if I lost my probe, send another probe like over here. And then in a few minutes send it to his base just to scout. See what he's up to. If I'm seeing this right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 7 drones. And you almost have 2 bases. To be honest, you're like way ahead right now. He's going lair off 1 base. And you've got 2 bases. So right here, your Nexus finished, but you didn't transfer any probes. I know you mentioned that like you wanted 2 probes per mineral patch because it's more efficient, but it's even more efficient to have some probes down here mining. So what I usually do, as soon as this Nexus looks like it's about to finish, each time these probes bring back some minerals, you notice that like it's like 5 or 6 at a time. Just do this. Just grab like 5 of them, send them down here. Grab 4 maybe. Each time they come back and grab some, boom, there's 5, send them down. Or boom, there's 4, send them down. 4 or 5 while your Nexus finishes. It's actually better for your money to do that than it is to have this many in your main. Again, building placement, very important against Zerg. Tighter is better. Pylon here, you can build a cannon here and here. Pylon here, you can only build a cannon like here and like here. How are you supposed to protect your minerals if mutas fly? It's back here. So you need to work on building placement as well. And then like down here, maybe build another pylon here or something. You have a Corsair, but you definitely need to make sure to just, as soon as it spawns, maybe look for an Overlord like here or here. Or just fly straight into their base. See what they're doing. You notice he's going Mutalisk. And right here, if you would just flew this Corsair an inch farther, you would see he has no defenses and you have 6 Zealots. This is the perfect opportunity to just go in and for the kill. You know, you're pretty far ahead already as is. And he's making a ton of Mutalisks. So this is where you need to notice that you see the Mutalisks with your Corsair. It's time to build some cannons here and here. You need them, man. So whenever you notice Mutalisks, so okay, good, you're putting it on a second starport and you're making a weapon upgrade, that's good. But a cannon or two makes such a huge difference against Mutalisk. And look, you've had like a few minutes already. Okay, maybe like a minute to react to you seeing his Mutalisk. But you haven't built any defenses. So if he comes and attacks right now, what are you supposed to do with 3 Corsair? And that's exactly what he's doing. So there is a strategy to counter this, right? Let's say he comes into your base, and you're like, crap, there's 12 Mutalisks in my base. I only have a couple Corsair. I have no cannons. What do I do? Well, what you do is you get these Zealots, and you put some pressure on this base. If you were to attack this base right now with your Zealots, well, he's killing your probes with the Mutalisks, and then you transfer your probes down here, and you make some more Corsair, he's going to send his Mutalisks back to his base. He's not going to lose both of his bases just to some Zealots, right? So it's a perfect opportunity to go in and attack with some Zealots, put some pressure on. While you're putting pressure on, you can make some more Corsairs. His Mutalisks will leave to go back to protect his base, and then you can throw down some cannons. So he just has like a lot of Mutalisks. It's going to be hard to counter this. Once you get maybe 5 or 6 Corsair, then you can go ahead and attack that, like right now. Go ahead and just kill that. As soon as the Mutalisks leave your base, what you need to do is grab your probes and bring them back. Right, you're missing out on a lot of money right now. And you definitely need to work on building placement. As I said before in all my previous, in the previous videos, pylon here, Stargate here, gateway, 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 pylon here, gateway, gateway. It's better to have your gateways on the side of your pylon, and then your pylons like over here in a corner. Having your gateways behind your pylons and your gateways spread out like this, it's going to make it so hard for you to build your units, because what you're supposed to do is like, how are you supposed to build units? If you hotkey these gateways, you'll build units here. But then you got to go here and build your gateways or units, and then you got to go here. They're just so spread out. Having 1 here and then like 6 here or 8 here is way more important. And then having your pylons tucked behind and your gateways in front is always better. Having your tech buildings tucked behind and your gateways in front is better. And having your cannons cover more of your base. Having a cannon here and having a cannon here will cover all of this area. Having these cannons here will cover all of this area. Right? So what if he sends Mutalisks down here? What are you supposed to do? So you still need to send your probes back, so just work on that. You know, just remembering to send them back. Looks like you're going DT now. Luckily he didn't see that you didn't have really any protection down here. You have a good amount of Corsairs. I would probably cut Corsair production at this point. And you have a ton of money. So if you remember in my thread, I did mention that when you have this much money, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's you know, it's bad for you, but just throw down a ton of gates. You know, put 1 here, put another gate here, gateway, gateway, gateway. You need like 8 gateways when you have this much money. Because if you're looking at this game, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 gateways, right? And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatcheries with 3 larvae per hatchery. Your opponent's able to make 18 units per production cycle, and you're only making 4. So how are you supposed to beat him with 4 to 18, you know? You don't need to focus on microing. You don't need to focus on harassing. You need to focus on just making more units. It'll just make things a lot easier for you. And the most important unit in Protoss vs. Zerg, the High Templar. You need to focus on getting that guy out, because, like I said earlier, Dragoons lose the Hydralisk, Zealots lose the Hydralisk, Dark Templar lose the Hydralisk, but Psystorm beats Hydralisk. Psystorm beats Zergling. Psystorm beats Mutalisk. Psystorm beats like everything. Psystorm is the greatest thing you can make in this matchup. So you have 1,400. Wait, no, you have 1,200 gas. You make a ton of Psystorm. You can make more upgrades, and you can make a ton more gateways and zealots. And then these cannons here, and once again, we got to focus on building placement. So these will prevent Mulus from flying in over here, but why aren't you just protecting your main with a couple cannons? 3 cannons here is the same as 3 here and 3 here. That's 6 cannons wasted. You could just had 3 right here. And then more gateways. So work on your building placement. So I remember here you go in with your Dark Templar and your Corsair. Right? He can't see you, which is good, but typically Corsair DT is good for like harassing. You can send your Corsair around his main and kill some stuff, but when you do this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose your whole army. The reason Corsair DT is terrible as a frontal attack is because Zerg has so much detection. Look how many overlords they have. They have like 10 overlords. So even if they have nothing here, all the Zerg has to do is just send in all their overlords over here, and your Corsair will just get decimated by the Hydralisk, and then your DT are defenseless. So the Corsair DT is good for sending your Corsair around and killing overlords like over here, killing overlord here, flying around, just scouting what your opponent's doing, flying around over here. And then your DT can kill their bases. Like if you have Corsair DT go attack here or here, they're much better for harassing. They're not good for frontal assault. For frontal assault, you need zealots with upgrades, and you need High Templar and Dragoons. So at this point, like Hydralisks are just going to beat you because your unit comp isn't prepared for Hydralisks. Without Psystorm, you don't really have anything to defend against this. And without the proper amount of gateways, with only 3 gateways, there's no way you can keep up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 larvae. Look at that, he just made 18 more Hydralisks. And while you just may have defended this army, he just made 18 more Hydralisks. You're making, well, 0, but you could have been making, like 4 more units. You can't keep up with 18 Hydralisks with 4 units. So another important thing against Zerg, you need more production facilities. You should never let your money get this high. Okay, if I ever get to 1,000, I'm going to build 3 more gateways. If I ever get to 2,000, I'm going to build 6 more gateways. If I'm going to get to 5,000, I'm going to build 8 more gateways. And at this point, it's pretty much over. So just things to point out against Zerg. More production cycles. Psystorm earlier. It's the best thing you can do against Zerg. Upgrades are super important, weapons specifically, against Zerg because of how earlier you can kill their Zerglings and Hydralisks. Scouting is way more important. It's just super important against Zerg to scout. Knowing when to counterattack if they're attacking your main with Mutalisks, very important as well. Trying to buy time. And building placement. Don't block your buildings like this, and don't build way out here. Alright guys, that's it for my video today. Thanks for watching. If you want me to review your replay, just feel free to share it to me, even if you're a Terran player or a Zerg player. I know I've been mostly doing Protoss reviews, but that's because that's all I've been getting, and I'm a Protoss player myself. But I can review Terran, and I can review Zerg build replays as well, up to, an intermediate level. I can't do advanced play for that because I only play Protoss, but I can do beginner and intermediate. I can do advanced Protoss replay analysis if you were to send it in to me. And check out teamliquid.net strategy forums. Feel free to submit your replays there. You'll be surprised at how many people are willing to give you feedback. If you want to send more replays to me, send them to professorprotoss@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to check in my new videos coming out pretty soon and subscribe to me for more tutorials. Thanks, and I'll see you later.